Welcome back to the deep dive. We spent, well, quite a few hours digging into this ongoing conversation between the author and the interlocutor. It's fascinating stuff.
Absolutely. Sometimes a bit mind-bending, too.
Definitely. And today we're tackling something that I think gets right to the heart of why this material can sometimes feel tricky. It's the author's way of speaking.
Ah, the riddles, the metaphors, the almost stubborn refusal to just spell things out clearly.
Exactly. Why not just give a straight answer? That's the question. And today's source text actually tackles this head on.
It does, and surprisingly, it reveals a really deep psychological reason behind all that ambiguity. It's not just about being poetic or difficult.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack that specific exchange. It zeroes in on what the source calls the mind's favorite game.
And how that game, maybe without us even realizing it, kind of messes with our ability to actually learn something new, to genuinely change our perspective.
Understanding this is key, I think. It shifts the author's method from seeming, I don't know, intentionally obscure.
To being more like a specific psychological tool, like instructions for bypassing a mental trap. We get the why behind the how.
Okay, so let's dive in. The conversation kicks off with the interlocutor basically voicing the frustration many of us, you the listener included, probably feel.
Yeah, they just come right out with it.
I love the directness. Me too. The interlocutor says, you always speak in riddles, parables, and metaphors and almost never explain things to the end.
And then admits, honestly, it even irritates me sometimes, which is just so relatable.
It really is. And the author's response? No beating around the bush.
Nope. Straight up, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to just lay out the whole truth like that.
It's quite blunt. An unapologetic no, but that no opens the door to the real insight here.
Exactly. It forces the question. Why not?
We've touched on this reason before, haven't we? In a previous deep dive, the author hinted that fully describing a goal,
You can actually block the way to reaching it.
yeah, they even refused to answer directly what can happen when a person tries to know themselves. Remember that. They specifically said they didn't want to close the path for others.
Right. That was the warning, don't close the path.
Yeah.
But this discussion, this is where we get the explanation of how we close our own paths.
Yeah.
It's about what our minds do automatically, instinctively almost.
Okay, so the author is trying to get around some kind of automatic mental habit. What is it? What's the mind's biggest distraction? It's a favorite game, as they put it.
Well, the author puts that question directly to the interlocutor. Have you ever wondered what the mind loves to play with?
It sounds so simple when phrased like that, like the mind is a kid with toys.
In a way, maybe it is. And one of its absolute favorite toys, according to the author,
Yeah.
is giving names.
Labeling things.
Giving names. Okay, we do that all the time. We label everything. How is that a game that gets in the way? Isn't that just language? How we understand the world? Well, yes and no. Of course, we need names, labels for communication, for basic function. But the author's talking about something specific here.
Okay.
It's the mind's inherent urge to name everything unfamiliar, disturbing, or attention-grabbing. Think about that moment you encounter something truly new, something that surprises you or makes you uncomfortable.
Right. You want to figure it out, make sense of it.
Exactly. But how do we often make sense of it? According to the author, we slap a name on it,
Yeah.
and then we push it out of consciousness into the subconscious.
Push it out.
Yeah. The main goal isn't actually deep understanding. It's just to make sure it stops bothering us. To neutralize the disturbance, the unfamiliarity, put it in a neat little box with a label.
Hang on, it sounds like we're tricking ourselves. Naming something feels like understanding it, but you're saying it's actually a way to stop understanding it, to stop engaging.
That's the core idea the author is presenting. It's a kind of premature cognitive closure. Think about it. You encounter a complex new philosophy, something really challenging. Your mind quickly goes, oh, that's just, Eastern mysticism, or that sounds like Stoicism, or whatever familiar label fits, even loosely.
Right. You categorize it based on what you already know.
Precisely. And the moment you do that, the author suggests, you stop seeing the new thing in its raw, potentially transformative state. You just see the label, and you feel like, okay, got it, filed. The disturbance is gone.
So the naming isn't the problem, it's the speed and the motive behind it. It's like an intellectual defense mechanism against surprise, against the effort of real engagement.
That's a great way to put it. You neutralize the surprise. You defang the newness. And this realization leads the interlocutor to ask a truly stunning question. It's a real aha moment in the
Right. I
text.
love the question.
They ask, thinking this through, So in the extreme case, does that mean we truly see something real only once in our lives?
Wow. Only once.
Yeah, the author's response, bravo! Exactly. Think about that. We see reality only when we're surprised the first time.
The very first time we encounter something, before the label sticks.
Exactly. After that initial shock, that moment of raw perception before the mind clicks into name it mode. After that, the author says, we just see what we know about the thing we're looking at.
We're not seeing the thing itself anymore. We're seeing our definition of the thing, our stored file.
We're interacting with our own mental library card catalog, not the actual book on the shelf.
That's kind of staggering. It implies that almost everything we experience daily, our commute, our job, even the people we know well, we're not truly seeing them in their full present reality.
We're mostly seeing our accumulated knowledge about them.
Hmm.
The label my spouse, my boss, traffic jam. The raw, dynamic reality gets filtered out by the name we've already assigned.
So for you, the listener, trying to learn something genuinely new from this author, if your mind instantly jumps to label it, oh, this is just self-help, or this is abstract philosophy.
You've already stopped listening. In a way, you've stopped seeing the potential in the idea itself. You're just interacting with your pre-existing file labeled self-help or philosophy. The door closes.
And this links to something else unsettling. The source mentions the idea that our perception can be, well, hacked, changed from the outside.
Yes, precisely because we operate so much based on these labels. If your internal picture of the world is built on these easily swappable names,
Then someone else can potentially give you a new, more powerful, maybe more emotionally charged label, like propaganda or a strong ideology.
exactly. And if your mind isn't robust enough, that new label can just slot in, replacing the old one. Your whole worldview can shift, not because of deep understanding, but because someone changed the label in your mental filing system.
Scary thought. But there's a defense against this, right? The author mentions a caveat. This hacking doesn't work on everyone.
Correct. It primarily works, the author states, if their consciousness isn't structured. This goes back to earlier themes we've discussed, the importance of building that internal structure.
What does a structured consciousness look like in this context? How is it different from just knowing a lot of facts?
Structure implies stability. It's not just collecting labels. It's understanding the fundamental principles underneath. It's about having grappled with core questions like, what am I?
Yeah.
And building a coherent internal framework.
So it's integrated knowledge, not just stacked up data points.
Right. The author says a structured mind has stability. Its picture of the world, its understanding, can't be changed without what I call inner re-understanding. You can't just swap a label. You have to actually engage and integrate the new information fundamentally.
That sounds like real intellectual freedom. The goal isn't just to know more, but to build a mind that can process new things without just resorting to the old filing system or being easily manipulated.
That's the freedom, yes. And now we can see the author's method, the riddles, the metaphors, in a totally new light. It all clicks into place.
How so?
Well, think about it. If the author just told you the final answer, described the ultimate state of self-knowledge perfectly, what would your mind instantly do?
Based on what we just discussed, I'd immediately try to understand it by comparing it to something I already know. I try to label it.
Exactly. You'd instantly imagine it and compare it with something they already know. That amazing new insight would just get swallowed by your existing mental categories.
It would just merge with their previous knowledge, and I'd probably think, oh.
Ah, right. I know this already. Game over.
The mind wins its favorite game, name it. And the actual potential for learning, for that inner re-understanding, is lost. The label goes on, the file closes.
And the path is blocked by your own mind's efficiency.
So the ambiguity, the riddles, they are designed specifically to stop that premature labeling, to keep the mind from jumping to conclusions.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They prevent you from slapping on that easy label. The author confirms this. A parable, a riddle, a metaphor. None of them show the picture. Instead, they direct the mind, set it in motion, give it a chance.
Give it a chance to stay in that state of uncertainty, of surprise.
Yes. They force you to wrestle with the idea, to turn it over in your mind, to remain in that slightly uncomfortable state where real thinking, real integration can happen. They don't give you the satisfaction of a quick answer.
Because that satisfaction is the signal for the mind to stop working on it. Wow, okay.
It's intellectual friction, deliberately introduced. It's like mental resistance training.
And the author actually promises to delve deeper into how parables work later on, right? Seeing them as more than just stories.
Yeah, they frame them as universal signposts pointing towards specific meanings. which sounds like we'll need to get into the mechanics of the mind even more,
Hmm.
maybe touching on psychology, neural networks, how meaning itself is formed.
So this whole approach is tied into a longer-term process the author is guiding the listener through.
Definitely seems that way. Real change isn't instant. It's a process that needs careful navigation, avoiding these mental shortcuts.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up for today. The big takeaway seems to be, our minds love to play the name it game. It feels like understanding, but it's often a shortcut that stops us from truly seeing reality, especially after that first moment of surprise.
Right. And if you, listening now, want to get past that surface level knowing and achieve that deeper inner re-understanding the author talks about.
You have to actively fight that urge, that immediate need to categorize, label, and file away anything new, anything challenging, anything that makes you feel a bit uncomfortable.
It means being willing to sit with uncertainty, to stay with the surprise a little longer. And remember, this deep dive is just one part of an ongoing exploration.
That's a crucial point. The author explicitly recommends keeping up with the series because, as they put it, the understanding of the every next release depends on the previous ones.
So if this discussion sparks something for you, definitely head over to the channel page. Catch up on the earlier releases if you haven't already. It really does build piece by piece.
Absolutely. And remember, you can engage with this deep dive as an audio podcast, or you can watch the video version over on the channel, whatever works best for you.
Great.
So before we sign off, here's a little something to chew on, building on today's topic. If we only truly perceive reality in moments of surprise, before the label sticks, what's one familiar thing in your everyday life could be an object, a person, a routine that you could consciously try to unname today? Just for a moment, try to see it as if for the very first time. What might you notice?